Hi everybody, this is Sherry, and I just wanted to show you the punch art that I'm going to make to put on. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do bags or boxes or what, but to put on the gifts that I give our first responders here in Live Oak for the 4th of July. And because there's so many and I've been real sick, I figured I better go ahead and kind of get a head start on this. So this is what I decided to do, and it's Uncle Sam. And all the punches that I used are Stampin' Up! Punches. And I saw a tutorial on it, and to be honest, and the lady didn't give all the instructions, and she didn't tell you what size punches or anything. And so I was a little discouraged, and I thought, you know what, I will figure this out on my own. So I believe I have, and I like, mine's different than hers, but I like how it turned out. So I'm going to show you what I did. This is what we're making, and I need to get my chalk out. I forgot my chalk. We got to ink his cheeks. We don't want him to look drunk, because I put a little too much ink on that one. I think he looks like he has, you know, a little buzz going there, but we don't want. I'll try to do better on the next one. And I'm going to start by showing you the punches that I used. This is the Stampin' Up! Modern Label Punch, and I'm going to show them to you on this side because the other side just gives such a glare. And you can see this right here is this piece right here. You need the 1 3/8 inch circle punch, which is his face. And I will try to put down all the punches in the description, but you know, I will also go slow, and you can stop and, you know, pause it, you know, anytime you need to get everything, to gather all your supplies. Now the next one, I believe this is the Builder Blossom, because it's like a flower punch. And this one you use 3 pieces off of this. And had her directions been clear, it would have been a lot easier, because I would have cut my strips to go, you know, this length, and I'd have slid them in and cut all 3 of these pieces at one time. And so now I know that. And so when you go to use yours, you know, cut your strip of paper at about 2 inches. And you should be able to slide it in at an angle and get all 3 of these out with one punch. You know, without having to try to punch individual and waste a lot of paper. And you'll need 2 of this one though. So once you get these 3 punched out, you'll have to go back and punch out extra of these, because you need 2 of this piece. Once you use that, I used the owl punch, and the owl punch was for the medium circle right here. This is the owl punch, and it was for the medium circle, is for the eyes and the nose. So you need that punch for that. This is the small heart punch that I chose to use for his bow tie, because I liked it better than what she used. This is the 1/2 inch circle punch, and you just use it to get his little eyebrows, and they're super easy to do, and I'm going to show you real quick. You just come up a little bit. You don't have to cut a whole circle, because that's just wasteful. Cut just a little teeny bit and let that go. Then move up just a little bit, and you can make his eyebrows as thick or as thin as you like, and then you just cut a sliver, and there's his eyebrow. Piece of cake. And what I did was I just kept moving up through there. I just kept moving it up. Cut the next one out. So you get that way you get your 2, and you just keep going and going until your punch won't go anymore, and you don't waste a bunch of pieces. Okay? So that's the 1/2 inch circle punch. This is the 1/4 inch, which is just a standard hole punch, guys. A standard hole punch, you know, one of the handheld ones, like for notebooks, spiral, you know, for the 3-prong notebook things. And that's for his little mouth right there. So that's all that one is. And then you need the modern label punch, and you need it in red and white. And that's his hat. And I was in so much pain last night. I couldn't sleep, and I can't cut a straight line if my life depended on it, so I'm going to tell you what I did. I was in too much pain to work on anything. So I sat with my ruler and I measured all my little pieces on. Now this one looks like even though with the lines, I still couldn't cut them straight. But you take your white one, and you know, you do have to throw away some of the pieces unless you can think of ways to use these little teeny weeny strips, but I couldn't think of them, so I kind of just pitched them. But you need 3 little white strips cut out of the modern label punch so it all matches up here at the top. Super, super easy. And I think I told you everything you need. And you can ink chalk his cheeks if you want. And so we're going to get started. Now this is the first one, and I had already started when I decided I was going to do a video. And what I did was I put the 2, and you don't go, for this one, when you do this, you don't have to go all the way up there to the point, because you don't need, you cut off part of it if you do that. So, I mean, you can do it, like when you're cutting the 3, it makes sense. But when you're going back to cut the second piece, just put in a strip and cut from here down, you know, so you don't waste this and have to cut it off, because you can't use it for anything. So what I did was I took my glue and I put his face, I laid his little circle on, and then I pushed his hair into where I thought, because this is his hair, and I thought, okay, now this looks like the right amount. I didn't want too much sticking out, too little, so I used his face as my gauge, and then I'm going to put a little more glue back here to hold that down. But you really don't need to worry about it, because trust me, oh my golly, this guy has so many layers. There's plenty to hold him together. Okay, now we're going to start with his face. And you start by putting on his little eyebrows. And I'm going to use my tweezers for this, because the pieces are really tiny. And I'm doing this upside down, so, you know, I hope I don't make this kind of look wonky. But this is going to go in my punch book. Now, I'm sorry, guys. I do have to turn him around to make sure I get him, you know, on there right. You just want to bring them down just a smidge, not a lot. And if you want, you can actually, I was going to actually trim off, which is true, I forgot. Let me see if I can peel that up a little bit. Because they're just kind of long, and no matter what you do, you can't really make them any small. You can't use a smaller punch. So just kind of trim off the little pointy parts. You can leave them on the end, because, you know, your eyebrows kind of get narrower at the end, so, you know, that would work. So let me get my next one up here on my thing. Clip off my little corner here on the end, just to make it a little neater. Put some glue down on him here. And this one's going to go in my punch book, and then I'm going to start really cranking them out for my first responders, because I feel really bad. I was so sick at Memorial Day, I didn't get to do anything for them, and that really upset me. So there's my eyebrows. Now you take your 2 circles. Now these are the circles for the eyes and the nose, are the medium circle from the owl punch. And what I do is I just take my glue and put a dab of glue there and there, and pick up my circles and put them down right there, and put them down. I put a little bit too much glue there, so I'm not going to press too hard, and hopefully it won't leak out everywhere. So there's my eyes. Now for your nose and your mouth, what you do is you get your, where did I lose my mouth at? Oh my golly, I just lost my mouth and I just punched out a whole bunch of those. Huh, what did I do with my red mouth? Hold on guys, I lost my mouth. Not a biggie. I got the piece out here, I'll just cut another one. And as you can see, I cut out a bunch of them, so it's a matter of finding the bag. And I will find it later. See? Right after I punched it out. There it is. Okay. So we're gonna put his mouth right about here. But we don't want to glue it down just yet because we want to take the middle size punch and we're gonna take and move his mouth over just a little and hook his, this is his beard, so we want, or his, you know, little Uncle Sam's little goatee thingy there, I don't know what you call it, and put that down first. Then take your little mouth, put it over top, and put that down next. Then the next thing you do is you take your two small petals from the Petal Blossom Punch and you take the pointy part right there. That's going to go on the outside. So that's going to go there. And that's going to go right over here. And we're going to put that right over top of his mouth. So, so just a little bit of his mouth actually shows. You don't want too much of it showing. And if you want, after you get all these pieces down, you can actually go and add some glue underneath of them. But I use my tweezers because these pieces are really tiny. And it's okay if your glue shows and stuff because you're going to put his nose. You have to put his nose on yet. So, you know, we're cool. There he is right there. Another dab of glue right there on top. And we put his little nose on top of that. Now, some people, the lady inked her cheeks before she put his face together, but I found it a little easier to do it after because then I knew his mustache wouldn't cover it. You know, so there's a little ink for his cheeks there. So we got that covered. Alright. Then what we're going to do next is his bow tie. Now you want his bow tie to go under his little goatee thing here, but not behind his hair. So the best way to do that is kind of just flip him over here. And what we're going to do, well, I guess not flip him over, but it doesn't go all the way, is what I'm trying to say. You know, it's not wide enough to go all the way where the two tips of the heart touch. She used a bigger heart, and if you want to use a bigger heart, I'm sure that you can. But the bigger heart punches that Stampin' Up! Had, I did not care for them. I just didn't like the way it looked on him. So I opted for using these smaller ones. And I think it works fine. So, little glue there. And under his goatee, but above his hair. Bring it out a little. If you get a little glue on there, it'll dry. Mine dries clear, so don't worry about it. And, you know. And then, so there we've got his bow tie underneath his goatee, but above his hair. And now here comes the rest of him. Now what you're going to do here is you're going to, this is going to be his hat. Now remember, these were the two pieces of the modern label punch, and what I did was take the white one and just cut myself 3 strips out of it so that the points match up. What I did was I tried to match the point up and the little like rounded piece here. That way it made it easy to layer it. And you just take some glue, and because you know the white sticks up, that's the part that kind of touches the most, so you want your glue there. And you bring it up and you put it to where his head is about at the points. Can you see the points there? I wondered if I could cut it off and get 2 out of one of these so that I wouldn't have to make twice as many, but to be honest, it didn't give me enough to glue it to. So that made it, you know, I had to do the 2. Then you take your little your other piece here, which, excuse me, that's the modern label punch. That's the extra large decorative label punch. And I took my white gel pen, and you can put dots, or you know, she did little stars, which they look like dots to me on hers, but I did like the idea of it kind of looking more like stars, because you know this is Uncle Sam, so we want him to be patriotic. And so you do, you know, you just do the little things and they dry. You know, it's the Sakura Jelly Roll white pen, and it dries real quick. And so let me put those on here. Get to the other side. And I'm looking forward to making these. I sat down, what I do is I make mine assembly line style. And I sat down and I cut out all of my pieces, maybe one more there, the other night, or last night when I wasn't feeling good. So, and you just take your thing and you put a little bit of glue across this one edge, because now remember, this is going to be wider. So I mean, you can put it on here if you want. Might even be easier. That way you know you don't go over. And you want it to go a little bit. Whoops, getting back in here. You want it to go a little bit over his eyebrows and just even it out there so it's nice and even on both sides. Not too, I brought it down a little too far. I don't want to completely cover up his eyebrows. Then I take my my pen again, and I just do some little circles here for his eyes. Just like that. And there he is. There is Uncle Sam. I think I got his little piece there a little crooked. But, and then if you want, like I said, these pieces are loose because they're only connected here. You know, when you get him put together, if you want, you can put some extra glue here and maybe a little extra here. But he's pretty thick by the time all of his pieces get together. And he will go on whatever I decide. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a box or a bag for our first responders. But I think they will like him for the 4th of July. And he's really cute. And I will try to put a list in the link below of all the punches that I used. But again, you can always slow down the video, and which is what I did when she did hers. But she didn't tell you what punches she used all the time, so I had to work on figuring some of it out myself. But I think he turned out cute, and I definitely like this bow better, and so let me know what you think. You know, I guess I could have even brought his little chin and nose down a little bit. I mean, it's up to you. Play around with him. This was a little hard to do upside down, but I hope you like him. And let me know what you think. Thanks for visiting me today, guys, and happy crafting. Bye.